Today is a good day. Today we're going to observe, to explore, to discover. We will take a look at the life and the comings and goings of astronomer Frederik Kaiser. For that, we need to move to Leiden, the epicenter of his life. Here we are in the center of Leiden. I'll not be the only one who guides you through all this information. That's why I want to introduce you to Emma. She'll start with Frederik's early life.
Let me tell you his story. Frederik Kaiser was born in 1808 on the 10th of June in Amsterdam. His father was a German who had moved to the Netherlands as a hatter. He had worked as a clerk and as a German teacher and had published an educational book on how to speak German. He was married to Anna Sibylla Leonor, and together they had 6 children. He died when Frederik was only 10 years old. After his father died, his mother had no choice but to house Frederik at his uncle's, having no income but still 6 children. His uncle, Jan Frederik Kaiser, had a great interest in astronomy, which was rare in that time. He was a teacher in mathematics and astronomy, and was a member of the first class of the Confederation of the Dutch Institute of Sciences and Arts. Although he wasn't appointed at the astronomical observatory of the Amsterdam company Felix Veritas, he still continued to develop and soon became the best astronomer in the Netherlands. Kaiser was greatly influenced by his uncle. He also showed great talent and interest in the subjects his uncle taught him at a young age, and was soon able to use tools related to astronomy. By the age of 12, he was able to perform difficult astronomical calculations. Besides his uncle's education, he received no other form of education as this wasn't obligatory yet. At the age of 15, Kaiser's uncle died. Once again, he was left with no guardian, but this problem seemed to be solved in the form of Gerrit Mol, who showed great interest in this smart boy. 2 of his pupils gave Kaiser the opportunity to study Latin, and Mol himself provided money from the state to continue his education on astronomy.
Kaiser managed to acquire an income by taking after his uncles and teaching mathematics. He also correctly predicted a solar eclipse in the year 1823, together with a former pupil of his uncle's. When Kaiser wasn't busy teaching or tackling difficult astronomical issues, he busied himself with the books and instruments he inherited from his uncle, through these he managed to educate himself even more, and which benefited him greatly and eventually led to his broad career in astronomy. Kaiser became an observer in the observatory located in Leiden in 1826. He administered himself as a student only 5 years later, aged 22, on February 15, 1831. He spent several years studying and, shortly after graduating, acquired the reputation of an astronomer due to his exact calculations of the orbit of Halley's Comet. He had already been appointed astronomer at the Leiden Observatory when he became a lecturer as well as the observatory's director in 1837. After 3 years, he worked as an extraordinary and by 1845 as a full-time professor in astronomy, also in the Leiden Observatory. Using scarce resources, Kaiser has brought Dutch fame, knowledge and international recognition concerning astronomy and has expanded it from its early start in the observatory. He was known internationally for his accurately made positions. He was in that time not yet famous for his work concerning the planet Mars. Besides teaching, his interests also laid in writing. He has written many astronomical and scientific books, such as The Stars Explained, written in Amsterdam in 1844, and The Stars Defined and Shown, written only 1 year later. His books, including these, are written in Dutch. Many of his notes, lectures, manuscripts, and even his correspondences have been preserved for over 100 years and can still be found at the Leiden University to this day.
Observatory has been said to be modeled after the Purkovo Observatory in St. Petersburg. Kaiser's observatory was built along the Witte Singel, which is a canal flowing just behind the said observatory. The then new observatory is seen as a start of the blooming of the age of astronomy in Leiden and the Netherlands as a whole. The botanical garden of the Leiden University sacrificed some of its land that was needed in order to build the observatory. Now, the building, designed by architect Henry Kamp, finally received the pass it had been waiting for.
The main improvement of Kaiser's observatory is that it featured a so-called meridian circle, which is basically just a telescope that's more precise than others. Meridian circles are used to calculate the highest point of an object's orbit in the sky. The meridian circle we have here is located in one of these domes right next to me. The other domes are not empty though. They are host to several reflectors, refractors and telescopes, some of them being as old as 180 years. In 1919, Mr. De Sitter became head of the observatory, who has also worked with Albert Einstein on his theory of relativity. Kaiser's observatory had been in full use until 1978, when it was replaced by the Huygens Laboratory and later also the Henk-Jan Oort building. Until 2006, the biology department had access to the original observatory, called the Sterrenwacht, which is its Dutch name. This building has been renovated in 1924 due to extensive visitation and use, and has now been returned to the old visual state. The old observatory has been renovated in 2009 and is now open for guests visiting the botanical garden.
Now that we have seen how Kaiser managed to work his way up and even build an observatory, we are going to dive in what he has actually achieved on the subject of astronomy. His main achievements concern the fourth closest planet to the Sun, Mars. But what exactly did he discover about Mars? Back in 1862, Mars found itself in a very special position in the Earth's sky, called a perihelic opposition. This occurs when a planet is directly opposite to the Sun from the Earth's perspective, making it visible for an entire night. This very night, Frederik Kaiser was looking through his telescope and made drawings of the planet he saw. After which, he compared these drawings to those earlier made, for example those of Hooke and Huygens. After he'd worked out his calculations, he found that a day on Mars would last 24 hours, 37 minutes, 20 and 22.6 seconds on Earth, which is only 0.07 seconds from the time we have agreed upon to this day. Besides this, he also compiled the best map of the planet until that date, continuing the use of letters to designate the different features. The accuracy of his work is especially noteworthy because it was so early and he had very limited resources compared to the present. Several craters on Mars, as well as on the Earth's moon, were named after Kaiser as a tribute to his work as an astronomer and his contribution to astronomy and our knowledge. An asteroid has also been titled the 1694 Kaiser, discovered on the 29th of September 1934. Kaiser was the director of his beloved observatory, but never having enjoyed a really strong health, he was relieved of this responsibility when he died on the 28th of July 1872. Altogether, Frederik Kaiser made quite an impact on the early and scarce knowledge we had on Mars, and therefore on the entire subject of astronomy.